won 1 year ago.
Well, you can see everybody trying to get in single file right at the first of the race. There's a lot of debris on the racetrack, a lot of sand. Trouble. Turn one.
Big crash in the center of the field, collecting 2, 3 cars as they broke away. Almost.
There you go.
The leader. In all, 10 cautions, 8 for wrecks. 73 laps under yellow a year back. And when it was all over, Jeff Burton climbed out of his car ready to sing "God Bless Texas" as he won his very first race. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Texas Motor Speedway. What a race we have for you today. This is the one that's been talked about for days because of the track conditions, seepage through the track. What will happen? We don't know. You're going to find out in the next 4 hours of 500 miles of competition here on this facility. We've seen all kinds of brilliant action, and yesterday it was a great moment when one of the old names in racing and a new young face came together for victory lane, and there was a very proud dad.
You know, you race quite a while before you really accomplish a lot, but he's done it in pretty good style there. It rates right up there when winning the Daytona 500, the feeling I have inside, and I'm really proud of him. And Dale Jr. just went out there and used his head. He gets a little excited sometimes on the radio, I reckon, like I used to. And he does a good job. And he stayed cool there and run good there at the end and beat Joe with some tires. But he has run good all day. He's racing hard, and I think he's got the points lead now, so I'm going to have to hold him down a little bit here and keep him calm.
A day for the record books. Dale Earnhardt Jr., his first career Grand National victory comes at Texas Motor Speedway. Well, there you see it. That's the track the whole nation is talking about. And for more about this track and about this race, let's go to Racing Magazine's Dick Berggren.
Up at the front row, Cannon, what an interesting front row it is. 2 young drivers, neither of whom has ever won a Winston Cup stock car race. Starting on the outside of the front row, number 42, Joe Nemechek. And what a great day he had here yesterday in Texas, finishing 3rd in the Grand National race. And starting on the pole, 28-year-old Jeremy Mayfield. But the last practice session yesterday was eliminated because of problems with the racetrack, so he didn't get a chance to try the chassis setup underneath this race car. Well, we've got a guy who never won a Winston Cup stock car race driving a chassis that's untried starting on the pole. How's that going to work out?
Well, we made it, plenty adjustable, and these guys are really good. You know, we sat down yesterday and spent a lot of time, Rusty and I did together, and both teams on what we were going to run, and, man, both of us got a lot of different stuff underneath our car and a lot of adjustments, so it should be an exciting day for everybody.
Well, there have been 3 stock car races here in the history of this racetrack. 2 of them have been won by men who had never before won in their respective divisions. Could be a 3rd today. Let's go to Bill Stevens.
Well, Rusty Wallace is leading the Winston Cup chase by 1 point over his teammate Jeremy Mayfield. He's qualified 6th, but Rusty, you're competing against the racetrack today as much as the other drivers.
Yeah, just as much as everybody. It's been giving us a little bit of problem, but I just drove around it just a little while ago. The track looked really nice and clean and smooth, and we'll see what happens. We've got a hot day with no practice, and I'm sure everybody will be making adjustments today.
Well, last week the track got the better of Rusty. He only got 160 laps in and then went out. This year he's looking for some frontier justice. Right now, Ralph Shaheen is with the driver that's number 3 in Winston Cup points.
That is Jeff Gordon. He is also the only man to have won 2 races so far in 1998. But, Jeff, you start 17th today, pretty deep in the field. Will you try to make up all the ground yourself, or are you going to let your pit crew, the Rainbow Warriors, help you out on pit road?
Well, I certainly don't think I could do it on my own. It's going to take a total team effort for sure, and I'm going to rely on those guys a little bit in the pits today for sure. They've been cranking out some great pit stops. Hopefully I can help them out a little bit, though, too, and we can kind of work off of each other today.
Best of luck to you, Jeff. Ken Squire, you know, a second gained on pit road is good for at least 50 to 60 yards on the racetrack.
And track position is going to mean everything. When it was over a year ago on this track, Jeff Gordon finished 30th. Well, let's go to the folks who are going to make the call on today's race. Buddy Baker, Ned Jarrett, and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Ken, and hello, everybody. Burton Smith has spent over $200 million here building and improving this track to make it fan-friendly. The drivers, though, still just making its acquaintance. Rains in Texas have been heavy over the last 2 months, double the norm, and that's why we have water seepage out of the track, and that's why NASCAR will throw a caution flag before 30 laps so teams can check the setups they did not have a chance to preview during happy hour yesterday afternoon. Now, Ned Jarrett, yesterday in the Busch race, we saw teams take on no tires, 2 tires, and 4 tires on pit stops, and each of those strategies worked pretty well from time to time.
Yeah, that says a lot for the tires they have here, Mike, and also it says something that they can look for to do today. I think we'll see all of those scenarios sometime during the race today because track position is so important on this racetrack. They try every trick that they know to try to get up towards the front because it is a difficult racetrack to pass on. And the fact that they didn't get that last practice yesterday afternoon, which is so critical, they have unknowns under their cars, don't know exactly what they'll do, plus the fact that they worked on the track overnight, made some patches up in turn 4, that will give them a little bit of an extra challenge as well.
And Buddy Baker, the Ford Taurus, has led 2/3 of the laps this year. How about today?
Well, you know, they really started a real turmoil in the garage area, but Chevrolet's won 3 times, the Ford Taurus only twice, and Pontiac once. But that's where it all ends. 42 top 10s for the Ford Taurus, 14 for Chevrolet, and 4 for Pontiac. And then after Atlanta, they took them all to the wind tunnel. NASCAR evaluated, took a little spoiler off the Ford, and made them very equal now.
Well, we'll see. Some of the drivers we'll watch today. This is a track that favors first-time winners. Earnhardt Jr. yesterday. Jeff Burton 1 year ago today picked up his first Winston Cup victory at this racetrack. There's a look at Burton's number 99 Ford out of the Jack Roush shops. One of 5 cars from the Jack Roush team in this field today.
I want you to watch Dale Jarrett today. His driving style suits a racetrack that you have to have patience on. He and his crew chief, they know how to set up a car for long runs. Look for Dale Jarrett today.
Another guy we can look for, too, is Bobby Labonte. He ran 3rd here last year. He has won 3 out of the last 4 races at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, a track that's very similar to the Texas Motor Speedway, so look for him to be up front.
During the pre-race, our pit reporters polled the drivers on what they would expect and what they would watch out for during today's race.
We're on the same boat. We all have the same obstacles out there, but I think just being real careful is going to be the key out there and staying out of trouble. You know, every racetrack we go to has you know, its own obstacles, and you know, this one has thrown us off for a loop. I think the lack of practice is going to be tough on us.
It'll be fine. I mean, you know, the concerns about water or this or that's not, you know, not a concern. The degree of difficulty at this racetrack is at a 10, but that is not changed much by any little bit of water or something.
If it's my preference, I'd redo the transitions to the corner. You know, coming off turn 4, the wall to me needs to be moved out a little bit where it'll give you a little bit more racing room. Yeah, you can race on it like it is, but it just makes it a tough facility.
But maybe we can blame this on El Nino. Really, that's what the cause of it. All the rain they've had here is just coming out of the racetrack. So, El Nino, get out of here.
Getting set to fire off the Texas 500. Let's go trackside.
Gentlemen, start the engine for the start your engine. It was
back to bring you the starting lineup and roll them off for the Texas 500 after this.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports coverage of the Texas 500 is sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. And by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Where's Rusty going today?
14th century, I think.
Italian Renaissance.
Nice.
When you learn to drive.
At Pennzoil,
Here we go.
we make motor oil that performs under the harshest conditions. Stop-and-go driving. If Pennzoil can protect these cars at the Taxi Cab 500, maybe you should ask for it next time you change your oil. Stop, go. Pennzoil.
A lot of times when something goes wrong with your car, you know it right away. But some parts, like shock absorbers, tend to wear out gradually over time. So gradually that many drivers fail to realize just how worn their shocks have become. So rather than wait till it's painfully obvious that you need new shocks, stop by your nearest AutoZone. Right now, when you buy 3 Gabriel Gas Rider shocks or struts, you get the 4th one free, only at AutoZone.
Hi, I'm Dan Marino.
No, I'm Dan Marino.
No, I'm Dan Marino. Sometimes things can get pretty confusing, especially with all the home equity lenders out there. So how do you decide where to go? Well, First Plus is the nation's largest and original 125 lender. They help thousands of homeowners lower their monthly payments each and every month, and they can help you too. There's no fee to apply, and even the phone call is free. So whether your credit's perfect or even if it's not, call First Plus today at 1-800-510-PLUS.
$200,000 race fans on hand for the Texas 500. It's a lazy, hazy Texas kind of day outside Fort Worth. 67 degrees. Humidity's rather high, light breeze, and just a light haze and a lot of sunshine. The asphalt's 101 degrees, and it's nearly that inside the race cars as they roll off for the first of 3 pace laps. Let's have a look at the starting lineup. Second career pole for Jeremy Mayfield, who's second in the points. Joe Nemechek, front row Joe, is right there. Row number 2, Ort Burton, 7th in this race last year with rookie Kenny Irwin. Chad Little, 3rd time in his career, a top 5 start, and Rusty Wallace, the point leader. Mark Martin, who won at Las Vegas a month ago, and Robert Presley. David Green starting in the top 10, and Gary Bradbury, a career best start. Row 6, Atlanta winner Bobby Labonte, and Mike Skinner, who led 10 laps here last year. Dale Jarrett, winner at Darlington, and Rick Bass, pole sitter at Rockingham. John Andretti along with Kevin LePage in the 8th row. 2-time race winner Jeff Gordon this year with Brett Bodine. Ernie Irvin, 6th at Daytona. Ricky Rudd, 5th here last year. Sterling Marlin and teammate Wally Dallenbach in the 11th row. Jeff Burton, who got his first win here last year, and Randy LaJoie subbing for Ricky Craven. Bobby Hamilton and Kyle Petty in row number 13. Johnny Benson, 4 straight top 10s with Greg Sachs in the 14th row. 2 veterans in Fords, Jeff Bodine and Ted Musgrave. Kenny Wallace in a Ford and Ken Schrader's Chevrolet. Back in row 17, Hut Strickland and Dale Earnhardt, the Daytona winner. Darrell Waltrip made the field on time, driving Earnhardt's car for injured Steve Park, and Dave Marcus, his 2nd start this year. Provisionals, led by Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott, both former Winston Cup champions. Veterans Jimmy Spencer and Michael Waltrip forced into provisional starts, as were Dick Trickle, who crashed in qualifying, and Steve Grissom. Lake Speed had a qualifying wreck, and he takes the final provisional start.
There were 5 drivers who failed to qualify for the Texas 500, and a couple of those drivers were victims of the water that started coming up through the track when they had to postpone qualifying on Friday afternoon.
Manufacturers breakdown in the field today. There'll be 22 Ford, 16 Chevrolets, and 5 Pontiac, and Chevrolet is leading in the Manufacturers Championship.
Today's race, with 43 cars starting, it'll take 334 laps to cover the 500 miles. These cars can go 60 to 70 laps on a tank of fuel. That's 22 gallons. Last year, Jeff Burton, inaugural winner, a lot of caution flags, though. Average speed slowed to 125 miles per hour.
You see the cars coming through the quad oval part of this racetrack. It is 1.5 miles in length. We'll start at the start-finish line, 5 degrees of banking, go down into turn 1 and 2. 24 degrees of banking, 5 degrees down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4 where there's 24 degrees of banking, then back to 5 to the start-finish line. Trouble spots here so far have been in turn 1 with the water seepage down there. We don't expect that to be a problem here today. Turn 4, there's been some repaving done down there, so that's going to be a challenge for the drivers here today. That's a turn we'll watch.
Field warming tires and being split in two, led by the pace car at pit road speed. You're with Jeremy Mayfield, the Mobile One camera, riding along with our pole sitter today. And his teammate, Rusty Wallace, the Miller Lite camera in Wallace's Ford, starting 6th. He has a 1-point lead on Mayfield. Mark Martin in the Valvoline camera, that's inside car number 6, one of the Jack Roush Fords. Martin will start 7th, looking ahead at teammate Chad Little there. Another of the Roush cars is Jeff Burton, the defending champion of this race. The Exide Batteries camera in the car that starts 23rd for Jeff Burton. Ricky Craven on the mend. Randy LaJoy is the substitute driver for Craven. The Budweiser cam in where are the frogs? There's Randy LaJoy. He will start 24th today.
Okay, Louie.
Jeff Bodine starting 29th in the Phillips Ford. 29th starter. And Dale Earnhardt, Daytona 500 champion and the proudest father in Texas today. His son won yesterday. Earnhardt will start 34th. And our First Plus Financial cam rides with Bill Elliott today, former Winston Cup champion, starting in 38th position. Wallace holds a 1-point lead on Jeremy Mayfield. 4 of the top 5 in the standings, former Winston Cup champions.
And that's how they got there, was getting an early start, getting up there in the point standings early in the year.
Wallace with 5 top 5s in 6 races this year. Enviable record. Mayfield right with him. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Paul Andrews is the crew chief of Jeremy Mayfield's pole-winning car. Earlier this week, his 28-year-old brother Rick, the youngest of 3, was reported missing off of the Southern California coastline. He is a boat captain. They found the boat, but not Rick. They called the search off on Wednesday. Paul Andrews is racing here today at Texas with a very, very heavy heart.
Andrews was the crew chief for Alan Kulwicki, and eerily, 5 years ago to near the day from Alan's tragic loss in a plane crash. Paul Andrews' brother is lost at sea. Field is packing up for a start. Jim Roper is on the flag stand. In 1949, he won the first sanctioned NASCAR race for what was then the strictly stock division, and it became Winston Cup. He drove his Lincoln from the Midwest to Charlotte to race it on the old dirt Charlotte Speedway, and couldn't drive it home because NASCAR tore down the engine. They had to tow it back.
And I got to see that race.
And he is on the flag stand today. Part of NASCAR's 50th anniversary celebration. Green flag, the Texas 500 is underway. Challenge for second spot down on the inside. Ward Burton brings that Pontiac right up behind the full sitting car of Mayfield.
Here comes Ward Burton into the lead down the front straightaway.
Leads the first lap.
The Bill Davis Pontiac for Burton is strong.
And trouble here in turn 1.
4 cars go slamming to the wall, and 4 more pile up behind them, reminiscent of last year's lap 1 crash.
Earnhardt's in it, Jeff Gordon's in it. Lots of race cars got banged up.
There's Hut Strickland along with Earnhardt down on the track apron, pinned to the wall. John Andretti and Rick Mast climbing out.
See Rick Mast coming out the right side of the car there. John Andretti now coming out of the car. He's undoing his radios.
Likely fuel pump breakage on Andretti's car when that car slapped the wall. Fire crews quickly on the scene, and just as in the inaugural, this racetrack takes its toll at lap 1.
And I suspect it probably started because there were cars still running side by side in that high groove. There's Ted Musgrave's car. You see a lot of damage on it. Let's see, Hut Strickland is out of his car now. You see Earnhardt moving around in his. He wants to get his car to go.
Yeah. Strickland's talking to Earnhardt, trying to give directions as Earnhardt tries to see if his car will steer. Remember at Daytona a year ago when Earnhardt flipped, got in the ambulance, got back out, got in his car, and finished the race. Darrell Waltrip comes to the pit road, and that cheer you hear from some of the crowd is because Jeff Gordon's car is torn up and coming to a halt on pit road.
A lot of damage on his Chevrolet. The only two-time winner this year, won last weekend to Bristol, Tennessee. They'll get that car repaired and get him back out there, but it'll be a long time. Dick Berggren.
Hard damage to Jeff Gordon's car. He has shut the engine off. Much of the damage is in the right front corner. Tremendous sheet metal damage up front. This is an aerodynamic track, and this is a very, very difficult way to start the race today, particularly for the guys who had hoped for championship like this one.
A Texas-sized twister in turn one. Earnhardt's driving back to the pits.
Kenny Wallace has gone to the garage area with a lot of damage. That's Darrell Waltrip with the one car, and you can see Earnhardt coming back for attention from his crew.
He had a feeling that car would still run, and it does. He wants to get it back so they can fix it, work on it, and get him back out there. He knows it won't be competitive, but he wants to make laps, get points.
Vinny, the crowd is going nuts.
A lap one crash will take perhaps 9 cars out. Here's who we have involved. Kenny Wallace, Kevin LePage, Hut Strickland, Dale Earnhardt, Rick Mast, John Andretti, Ted Musgrave, Darrell Waltrip, and Jeff Gordon. Now Earnhardt is going behind the wall and back to the Winston Cup garage area where the team will meet him and try to get that car back out. If he can return to the racetrack, every position he gains is going to be worth another 3 Winston Cup points.
But they can't work on the cars right now, Mike. The red flag is out. Now they can assess the damage, get themselves prepared to go to work on it, but the race has been stopped. It's red flag now. They cannot work on the cars until the cars roll again.
Good point, Ned. The cars on the front straightaway that were not involved in the incident can receive no attention from their crews. So to make it fair to all, the cars that are parked in the pit and in the garage area likewise can receive no work. Now the mechanic can look at the car, talk to the driver, evaluate the damage, get every tool they need in position, but they cannot touch the car until the red flag is removed. What happened going to turn one?
It's already happened. When they went in there, looked like a couple of cars side by side, and once it started, it just became a chain reaction type of a deal.
The first 2 cars up to the wall. There goes Kenny Wallace, and in the middle, John Andretti, Rick Mast.
That's Kevin LePage there in the 91. He was also in the very start of this accident.
And let's show you the view from Dale Earnhardt's group cam.
You can see Darrell Waltrip getting the back of Hut Strickland.
Earnhardt hit his own race car. Hit Darrell Waltrip. Couldn't help it, of course.
From Randy LaJoie, trying to sneak through.
Well, he spins around, hadn't hit anything yet.
And spins safely out of harm's way.
He said, whoa, boy.
Here's another look. Top of your screen.
Still, it's hard to tell what actually started it.
You can see John Andretti come up and hit Kevin LePage, and then
the yellow car of Rick Mast in the middle of the screen looked to me, Ned, to be the first car sliding up toward the wall.
It did look that way, and certainly the accident started right where he was running.
And in the garage, Larry McReynolds, Dale Earnhardt, his arm around Larry McReynolds, talking about the damage. And everyone looking under and around that car to find out what it needs.
That's exactly right. The excess and the damage, you can see them all up under there. They have every part to fix it.
Bill Stevens.
With Kenny Wallace. He's hot, he's unhappy, and may have seen how it started. Kenny?
Well, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I just can't believe this. You know, everything was fine, and the 78 car got out of shape first. I seen that. I dove clear to the bottom of the apron, and then somebody red, as you can see here, drove all up over me. And then the cars really just got artificial damage here, but they won't let us work on the car because it's under red conditions. I don't know, you know, I'll let everybody else talk about the racetrack, but I can't believe it. The Busch guys ran great all day yesterday. We can't even make it one lap, but Square D's a great sponsor. Mobil 1, I just want to get them in there. I'm sorry, brother. My guys are going to work hard, and we'll get this car out there.
With all the talk about crashing, guys, it's almost self-fulfilling prophecy. Back to you.
Saw Eddie DeHaat, their team manager, rolling a tire into position for Kenny Wallace. 78 was Gary Bradbury, and he may have been low on the apron as that incident started. Perhaps we'll have another look. We'll be back to Texas. We're under the red flag.
Michael came onto the scene in Indy cars as a winner. I'm very proud of the fact that he's carrying on the Andretti name. I'll never forget the first really competitive pass that he did on me. We banged wheels a little bit, and he was gone. Adios, Dada.
The Andrettis rely on the same Texaco Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy right off the shelf.
That's my boy.
And for your cooling system, get Texaco Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze.
Figaro, 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 Figaro. Figaro. Figaro here. Hey, Figaro. Figaro there. Hey, Figaro. Figaro here, Figaro there, Figaro up, Figaro down, Figaro.
Vigoro Lawn Fertilizer gives you more predictable, continuous feeding, whether it's hot, cold, wet, or dry. Vigoro. People everywhere are singing its praises.
Vigoro.
Only at the Home Depot.
Turn on to CMT, Country Music Television.
But it's alright to be a little bitty.
No VJs, just pure country music videos 24 hours a day.
Do you love me? Do you want to be my friend?
Turn on to the sights and sounds of America's hottest music. Turn on to genuine CMT.
Troy Aikman is back to pass. He's looking, look out. Oh, Aikman goes down.
He had a man wide open. What was he thinking?
Brute, it's all part of the game.
All right, guys. Same play.
If you ask us, it just tastes better.
Ted, others.
CBS Monday.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. 2 laps have been complete. The first under green, the second caution for an accident that's involved nearly a dozen cars down in turn 1, very reminiscent of the start of this race last year. Involved Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, Hut Strickland, Ted Musgrave, Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvan, John Andretti, Rick Mast, Kenny Wallace, Kevin LePage were all involved. And this accident may have been triggered by Gary Bradbury's car shooting across the track and way down low on the apron. Let's go back and have another look here.
You see Kenny Wallace down on the inside there. We're going to see some 3 wide racing, but this is not the cause of the accident. As we see, Kenny Wallace backs out there, and we're going a little bit further around the track.
As the camera picks up turn 1, watch a car down on the apron.
See the car that went out of your screen down on the apron, that was Gary Bradbury. Mike, when he came off of turn 4 coming around for the first lap to finish the first lap, he was very high. I noticed that he was not able to get back down coming off of turn 4, and then by the time he got to turn 1, he had got down on the inside of the track and really went down on the apron off the racetrack going into that. So whether that's spawned this whole thing, I don't know.
Let's show you what Jeff Burton saw with the windshield of his number 99 Ford. Will ride with the defending champion of this race. Well, you saw Bradbury down to the apron just before contact was made, so he was not a part of the contact We don't know if he was a part of the cause.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was not part of the contact. You're right. He was down out of the way, but whether somebody reacted behind him because of where he was going, thinking he might spin back up on the track. Most of the time you go down on the flat part of the racetrack, you're going to come back up on the banking, but he didn't. He stayed down there, and whether they thought he was coming back, don't know.
You saw Rick Maff's car on the wrecker. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen. He is caught up with the Daytona 500 winner, Dale Earnhardt.
Dale, can you tell me what happened out there?
Well, I seen the 75 car spinning up front of us, and I sort of checked up. Well, everybody was in front checking up. They all got to wrecking. Well, I went to the high side, which I thought I could clear part of it, but I knew the 75 was up there somewhere. But when I went to the high side, they started coming back across the track. The 8 car got me in the door, drove the rear end and the car into the wall backwards. So we just got hung up in it. I don't know what happened with the 75, but somebody looked like spun him or got into him, and it's just a big wreck from then. Everybody was every man for himself.
How bad is your car? Can you get back out?
It's pretty bad frame damage on the rear. We're gonna work and do our best to get it back out. We got a little damage on the front, but most of the damage is on the rear.
Thanks, Dale. Get to work.
Kevin LePage's car being hauled back to the garage. Here's Bill Stevens.
With another driver who got all too good a look at what happened, Ted Musgrave. And Ted, you think it was the racing surface pretty much not responsible for this?
Well, I don't think it was the water. I'm not really sure, but I don't think it was any water down there. It's just that there's only one groove. You know, you get out of that preferred groove right on the bottom, and there's nothing out there to hold the car. And I'm not quite sure. It could be a replay of last year. I didn't see anything that, you know, I haven't seen any TV. One guy might have just been trying to get down in that groove, you know, got tapped and turned around. And then, like I say, there's nowhere to escape here because you get out of that groove and the car just takes off anyway. And that's kind of what happened to Earnhardt and I. We went up to try and avoid it around the outside up on the top, but once you get up out of the groove, you know, there's nothing there to make the car stick to get turned back down around an accident. I was going where Dale was going, and that's how we ended up. But, hey, if you turn around, that Prime Star team's going to get this thing back out, and I'll guarantee you we're going to be out there for points.
And they were lucky last year when that first lap crash happened. It all was behind them. Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is out. Dale Earnhardt's car is out. Darrell Waltrip driving the Pennzoil car. What happened to you?
I don't really know. I told the guys on the radio when we started the race there, I said, boy, that first turn looks slick. You could tell there'd been, you know, some work going on down there. And I guess that's probably what started everything. I was behind Hutt over here, and he checked up because he saw people wrecking, and I got into the back of him, and then others hit me after that. But, you know, it's a beautiful sunny day. To think that we're all in the garage wrecked like this, the car count here, the torn-up car count here is an insurmountable. I've never seen so many torn-up race cars from one weekend. You take the Busch cars, the Winston Cup cars, and now this. We've torn up, I'd say, over 30 cars here this weekend. It's that. What do they have? A massacre down here somewhere. I forget what it was called. And we're having
the Alamo.
The Alamo. That's what it was. Yeah. Well, this is about like the Alamo, and I don't know who's going to win. My car may not look too bad before this day's over with.
Ken Squire.
Well, in all, Derek, some 35 cars, Darrell, have been collected out here. Red flag is out around the track. Lap number 1. Let's take a look not only at this year, but at last year. Now, last year, Darrell Waltrip was instrumental in that wreck. That's where it started. This was lap 1, and 13 cars were collected right there in turn 1 where it happened again this year. Among those, Bobby Hamilton, who also got hammered again this year. There were 13 in that. Jeremy Mayfield was in it, Kyle Petty, Derek Cope, Sachs, Bobby Hillen, Robbie Gordon. Now there's this year's wreck just moments ago. And again, Bobby Hamilton pinned against the wall with Rick Mast, Hut Strickland in it, Andretti, Musgrave, Gordon. Kenny Wallace got caught, the rookie Kevin LePage. Ernie Irvin's car torn up, and Gary Bradbury may have been a part of it, but he was able to keep going. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon's car sits silent on pit road. John Hendrick, team manager for this car, brother of Rick Hendrick, who owns it. How bad is the damage on this thing?
We're not real sure right now how much damage it is. Ray's plan is to try to keep it on the lead lap as much as we can. They're working on the car. We don't know how much damage they're going to. He just told Jeff he was going to check the toe on the car, make sure that was intact, and we won't know until we start back out. I feel like it'll take a while to clean this up under caution, give them a chance to work on the car, and it's not a team any better than the Rainbow Warriors to fix this car.
Well, they got a lot of work to fix. To Bill Stevens.
Yeah, there's a lot of work right in front of you. That's Ernie Irvin's front end, and they are just beside themselves down here, trying to assess the damage. Ernie Irvin, you're really looking for some luck, and so far this season there's been just not a whole lot of it.
No, not really. Yeah, it's a shame, you know, because you know, the teams, the Skittles, Pontiac, they've worked so hard to, you know, get a good race car for here. We had a decent qualifying run and really felt like we had a good car, and you know, just we don't get to show it today.
What did you see from where you were?
Well, I mean, all I can tell you is the 78 car was up on the outside. Everybody else was kind of single file in front of me, and 78 was up on the outside, and he was obviously trying to come down, and that kind of bunched everybody up and got everybody running into each other.
That's pretty bad.
It's a bad deal. You know, it's definitely a bad deal.
To Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Rick Mast, you're out of the race, and you had more than one problem. First a crash and then a fire. What happened?
You know, you got a one-group racetrack, man, and you get hung up on the outside. You try to get down. Well, coming off through 3 and 4, the 78 car was still hung out on the outside. And then when we come through the trioval or whatever, I looked up, I saw the 78 get crossed up. I mean, I don't know what caused that. Gary's a very good race car driver. I mean, you know, those things happen. And so the cars around me, in front of me, eased up. I got out of the gas and eased up. The 43 behind me eased up. Everything was going to be good. And somebody ran over the 43, hit him hard, and knocked him into me. It turned me around, then it was just on. You know what I mean?
Rick, those of us that drive on the highway, we've driven in bumper-to-bumper traffic. We've gone more than we should in speed-wise, and we see the Busch cars get through their start. How come this didn't? What is a driver on the street am I missing?
I don't have a clue, man. I mean, I know one thing. I'm glad NASCAR's going to sanction body. When you start hitting these walls like this for safety, you think, man, I'm glad it's NASCAR I'm working for. But I don't know. These things happen. I mean, again, it's a one-groove racetrack. It's a very tough track. I mean, it's very demanding, and, you know, we've all complained about it, but that didn't have anything to do with the wreck. You know what I mean? These things happen. Like I say, when the 78 car got crossed up, and again, Gary's a very good race car driver. I don't know who got into him, what caused that. But when that happened, when you have a wreck at any racetrack, I don't care if you're at Texas or Daytona or Martinsville, the first lap or second lap of the race, if somebody towards the front gets crossed up, it's going to be a big mess, you know, and it happened here. Just luckily, thankfully, everybody survived. Everybody's okay, and, you know, my Remington Bullet's a little mangled right now, but we'll get him at Martinsville.
Mike Joy.
Thanks, Ralph. You just saw Rick Mast's car, number 75, being dragged back to the garage area. 10 cars involved in the second lap crash. It's nowhere near a record. They had a 37-car wreck at Daytona in 1960. We're under the red flag. We'll be right back.
Come on, let's go faster, faster. He's really driving us. He's killing us. I'm pulling away from you. It helps, though. I don't think I could do it on my own. I know. This is the longest I've ever stuck with a workout program. Well, they say motivation is the key. You can do it. Come on, you bunch of bodybuilders. I don't see any sweat.
No wonder you can never get a bike around here.
This is what you're working for.
From 475 degrees above zero to 35 degrees below, nothing outperforms Mobil 1. Mobil 1 0W30. Superior protection when you start your car.
How's the car, Dale? A little tight off. 0 cars moving up. Got them on the inside.
Inside every member of Team Monte Carlo, there's a side that's kind of wild.
Come on.
Get another tire.
Team Monte Carlo. Animal. Pardon me. This year, they're hungrier than ever.
How do NASCAR drivers relax after the race? They do a little fishing.
Good fishing hole.
Great fishing hole. You bet.
I wonder why nobody else is here.
Uh-oh. Fortunately, most drivers start with Excite NASCAR Select, the official battery of NASCAR, engineered to start high-compression engines that demand nearly twice the starting power of your car.
Hey, who took all the fish? He did.
Excite NASCAR Select, because winter can be a real bear. Available at these stores.
CBS Wednesday. Michael Hayes is taken hostage. What do you want?
We're out of time.
David Caruso is Michael Hayes.
It wasn't until 1985 that a NASCAR driver had a chance to clinch $1 million in a single afternoon. But a tall, red-haired boy from Georgia, Bill Elliott, won 2 of the sport's 3 biggest races and then came to the venerable Darlington Speedway in South Carolina. In winning, he clinched the Winston Million, $1 million for $1 Million Bill. Between turns 1 and 2, where the fire erupted from fuel from Rick Mast's car and John Andretti's car also catching flame, they have washed down that area so as not to damage the asphalt.
And the reason for that is that the foam that you see on the top part there, and they have to wash that down. It's very slick.
A little bit of speedy dry down at the lower part of the racetrack and up top. Once again, Dale Earnhardt's view as he rolled off into turn number 1 to start the second lap of this race.
Wow, that hurts.
Earlier today, about the water seepage that has plagued this track this weekend due to heavy rains over the last couple of months. We spoke to NASCAR head Bill France and Speedway head Eddie Gossage.
Well, we've got a couple of problems that we've had with the track. We've talked to their senior management, Bruton Smith and Humpy Wheeler per se. They're as concerned as we are. They're planning on getting everything resolved and fixed.
We're going to not have any trouble today. We're going to get the whole Texas 500 in, we feel, and I guarantee you that tomorrow we're going to go to work and we're going to find a permanent fix. This is just a Band-Aid. It's going to work today, but we're going to make this thing right.
On the complaints from the different competitors about the transitions coming from the bank back to the straightaways, that may require a whole lot more engineering. That may take a while, but they're interested in having the drivers loving this place like they, and enjoying coming here.
Red flag is still out here at Texas for the last 21 minutes for repairs from that turn 1 incident. They cut grooves in the track to aid in drainage in a Y shape down to grooves leading to the bottom of the racetrack. But that V shape at the top caused some of that asphalt to chunk out yesterday. And so they put an epoxy patch in last night right there, and that seems to have held up quite well. But let's go back to the garage area and run.
They had just brought John Andretti's car back in here, and John, I see your car covered with all the dust from the fire extinguishers. What's it like inside when you have a fire and you have to hit that button?
Well, I never took the time to hit the button. I figured it's bad enough the way it is. I can just get out and get away from it. So I didn't even do anything. But it's one of those things I don't want to get burned. And I know we can fix the car, so you just climb on out.
What happened out there from your perspective?
It looked like the 75 car got turned sideways. Our 78 car got turned sideways or got sideways going to turn 1, and everybody started slowing down. And unfortunately, the guy behind me didn't slow down and hit us really hard and got the whole thing going. I don't know if something happened behind him or not, but I thought I was in good shape, and I was feeling pretty good about where I was going to go, and I ended up getting spun down to the infield, and then unfortunately the car turned again and went back up the banking, and I was real fortunate that another car was coming through, crashing up against the wall, and got me going straight again. So all in all, I'm pretty fortunate.
John, you were one of the quickest cars here in practice, and now you're crashed out of it. You've seen both the good and the bad of this place. Should we be racing here?
Well, I look at it and say the racetrack doesn't drive the race cars, the drivers do. So, I mean, the track can't take all the blame. I mean, drivers have to. We know we're going to get a caution in lap 30. NASCAR's told us that they're going to give us a caution on lap 30. What are we racing to? We're racing to a caution. There's no reason to get over anxious, and that's coming from a guy that usually is way over anxious. So, I mean, I was just settling in. As a matter of fact, I even let the 75 car in front of me at the start because there's no sense in making him sit out there and struggle and maybe get crashed in the first 30 laps for nothing. So it's real unfortunate. Nothing happens on purpose. It's just that, 30 laps is 30 laps, and the pit stops are going to change everything anyway. So, hindsight's pretty obvious.
Mike Joy.
Thanks, Ralph. The other car Andretti spoke of was Rick Mast that turned him straight. It looked like Ernie Irvan was the car that got into him to turn him, just as Jeff Gordon got into the back of the first car to go around, and that being Rick Mast up in the high groove. Track repair continues. Now, this is from the accident, not from any water seepage. They want to make sure this track is clean before we go back to green. We'll be right back.
After 50 years of sponsoring professional rodeo, you learn a few things about horsepower. Like when it's a good time to put your brand on the horse with the most power. Wrangler is a proud sponsor of the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated #1 race car, driven by Steve Park and branded by Wrangler.
Nobody's tougher on motor oil than a police force. The extreme stress and searing heat generated by their hard driving can break down an oil in no time. That's why hard-working police forces use Castrol GTX, the first leading 10W30 to meet the tougher volatility requirements targeted for the new millennium. Because some people have more important things to worry about. Castrol GTX. Drive hard. GTX is first to meet the volatility requirements targeted for the new millennium.
CBS Eye on People is a brand new network. It's a place to go when you want to meet the most remarkable people of our time. Some new faces, and a few you'll recognize right away. CBS Eye on People. Available on cable and satellite.
Red Dog rules for living, number 18. Sheep travel in flocks. Cattle travel in herds. The dogs travel in packs.
A demonstration of Big A's quick service. And now a closer look.
That'll work.
For fast service, go to the pros.
Did a Navy SEAL risk the safety of his men to win a Medal of Honor?
I'm giving you an opportunity to defend yourself.
Mondale Williams guests on JAG, CBS Tuesday.
Welcome back to CBS live coverage of the Texas 500 under the red flag. And I misspoke a moment ago. When Jeff Gordon got into Rick Mast, it was his mast was going up toward the wall. Look at the right corner of your screen.
There's Bradbury right there. You watch him, he's back straight right now. He goes down on the apron, gets sideways, and everybody behind him starts checking up, and there's contact right there.
It's John Andretti into the back of Rick Mast as everyone tried to slow up there. As Mast went up toward the wall, he collected the nose of Jeff Gordon's car. And a total of 10 cars are involved. Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, Hutch Strickland, Ted Musgrave, Gordon, Ernie Irvan, Andretti, Mast, Kenny Wallace, and Kevin LePage.
And actually, there were a couple more, including Randy LaJoie, that spun around, but I don't think he hit anything. He was very fortunate.
Bill Stevens?
Hutch Strickland just got back from the infield care center. How you feeling?
Well, I'm bruised pretty bad down my left side. You know, I took a pretty good lick last week at Bristol, and you know, got re-injured today a little bit, somewhat. But I'm okay. Nothing's broke or anything like that. But you know, I just hate it for everybody at Circuit City and Kendall and CarMax and all our sponsors. You know, this Chevrolet Monte Carlo. I mean, we worked really hard on it. Thought we had a good race car today, but just not going to get to show it today.
Todd, you were qualified in the back half of the field. This is one of the concerns starting a race like this back there, isn't it?
Well, it really is. I mean, you know, it seemed like, you know, this week, anywhere, you know, at this racetrack, whether you start up front or back or wherever you start, you know, everybody's having a tough time. And it's just going to, you know, I think the racetrack's going to be fine if once we can complete, you know, 15 or 20 laps and kind of get a groove worked in. But, you know, it's just a little tough right now getting started on it.
Let's go to Dick Berger.
Bill Davis' car is on the front of this grid. Ward Burton will take the green flag as the leader. Bill, you have watched car after car get bent up and demolished here. How do you want this guy to drive once the green flag drops?
Well, Ward's only got one speed, and that's wide open. And he's up front where he needs to be right now, considering the conditions. So hopefully our car stays good and we stay up there.
Well, right now, some of the engines are firing on pit road. Periodically, at least we hear a motor fire up. They've had to spread speedy dry here on pit road because so many of the cars have been leaking fluid as they have been towed back to the garage area. That has about been cleaned up. Pit road looks good right now. But I'll tell you what, Mike, those drivers in the cars are hot. Those cars have been sitting still on pit road. There's very little air moving. They are sitting in cars, many of which have black interiors, and I'll bet they're sucking the water right now.
And, Dick, they're all windshield facing the sun right now. One of the drivers injured in a crash here last year, Ricky Craven, is now sidelined with post-concussion syndrome from that and other accidents last season. Ken Squire sat down with Craven to get an update on his condition.
I feel fine now. There's days where I feel less than 100% in everyday activities, but typically it's not until I get into a dynamic situation, you know, or a racing situation, practicing, that I began having trouble. The senses that you depend on, your vision, your balance, things are so sensitive. And when you consider how close the field is now, you can't perform without it.
Talladega, terrible crash, awful crash. You walked away and waved it off. Texas a year ago on this track, practicing. Is this the one that bit you?
I think they all contributed, and then I think a few others along the way. And maybe if I had taken the advice of the doctors and sat out a month or 2 months, I wouldn't be facing what I'm facing now, which accelerated all that. And they say, hey, you know, now you've built up numerous concussions. You're going to sit down and relax a while, and we can correct this, but it's going to come at the expense of some time.
When are you going to climb back in? What's the expectation?
When I feel like I'm able to come back to Winston Cup racing, like in the form that I was in 1995 when I came here, then I'll push the button, I'll be back, I'll be raring to go, and I'm excited. The one good thing about setting out is that it's made me appreciate what a wonderful thing I had, and when I get back, my attitude is going to be better, my focus will be better, and I'm going to challenge my two teammates for some wins.
Cleanup nearly complete up between turns 1 and 2 here at Texas Motor Speedway. CBS Sports coverage of the Texas 500 will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Hey, what's that? What's what?
Iceberg Rider!
Need a new fishing boat, new fishing gear? Your favorite auto parts store's gone fishing. Napa's giving away Daiwa fishing kits with your Zuri lures at every store and 8 Ranger boats with Evinrude motors. Come on in for that Gone Fishing sweepstakes and sale. Save on Napa motor oil, now only 59 cents after rebate.
To become a legend, you must meet the challenge of Augusta National. A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS.
The address is CBS. Welcome home.
Let's be honest. You're only going to listen to a radio station if you like the music, right?
Take it easy.
Classic Hits 106.9.
There's only one radio station in Hampton Roads that plays this great music. Case closed.
Classic Hits 106.9, where all the good songs have gone. Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Hey, look, the race is on. Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse is proud to sponsor Richard Childress and Mike Skinner in the Team Lowe's number 31. So if you're into home improvement and love racing, we're going to do everything we can to put you right in the middle of the action.
Dad, nice job.
Now that was a costly mistake. Lowe's, the official home improvement warehouse of NASCAR.
We warn you first with Triple Doppler, only on News Channel 3.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports coverage of the Texas 500 is sponsored by the 6,200 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide and by First Plus Financial. We're working first for you.
They are fired off the cars, and those that can begin to roll.
Mike, there's 33 cars still on the track, 9 in the garage and 1 on the pit road. Jeff Gordon, they're working on the cars as we speak.
Ralph Shaheen.
Paul Andrews is the crew chief for Jeremy Mayfield. Paul, they've started the engines. What have you said to your driver?
Well, you know, we're a little loose there at the beginning, or not really loose, just had no control over the whole car. Like the track was real dirty. We're pretty sure that was a problem. You know, we're not really concerned about the car, but yeah, we got to make it through the first few laps, get a little rubber down, and try to get this, you know, get the car handling good and get the track cleaned off. But that's the main thing. We got to get some laps under everybody's belt here without any caution, so we can all have a real good rest of the race.
To Bill Stevens.
I'm with Jack Roush. Jack Roush with 5 cars in the starting field. All in all, you're pretty lucky.
Yeah, we were pretty lucky. The Ted Musgrave's Prime Star car got caught up in it. It's got the front snout bent. It's going to be hard to get it back, but the other 4 cars got through clean.
A lucky break for the guy who has pretty much defined the multi-car team in NASCAR.
And from pit road, Jeff Gordon rolls out. Look at that mess. But he can drive it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, though. You can see it's running sideways. That means the rear end house is turned away from the front tires, so it's not tracking at all. It's turned sideways going down into the corner there. You can see it.
Now, Gordon wants to stay on the same lap with the leader. That's why they left the pits before repairs were completed. As they roll around under caution, he will come back in. Here's Terry Labonte in for a change of tires.
A lot of cars on pit road right now.
That's a very smart thing to do if you run through a wreck of that size. And Terry Labonte was in the back of the field there. He feels he run over a lot of metal. He's making a pit stop now to change the tires.
From bottom to top, Lake Speed. The next red car is Randy LaJoy, who spun. Kenny Schrader is in. Here comes Labonte out. Michael Waltrip, Bill Elliott, Steve Grissom, Dick Trickle, Dave Marcus, Jimmy Spencer have all made pit stops on this lap.
Mike, the easiest way to say that, anybody that was behind the wreck when it started, come in the pits.
You're right.
As you say, that was very smart.
There is LaJoy. Now, his car, they're working on that front valance, the front spoiler. When he spun down from the 24-degree banking to the flat apron, that spoiler may have gotten bent under, adding lift to the nose, which LaJoy does not want.
But not a scratch on the race car itself. The sheet metal's in very good shape.
Jeff Gordon has taken his car to the garage after 1 lap. Don't be surprised to see him back out later in the day. In 1960 at Daytona in the modified sportsman race, Canadian Dick Foley looped his car, and behind him 37 cars piled up. Foley was not one of them. He went on to finish 10th in that race. That was NASCAR's biggest crash. What happened to Jeff Gordon in this race last year? Take a look.
Wham, Ernie Irvin runs into the back of Greg Sachs, and here comes Gordon running into the back of Ernie Irvin.
In a row. Jeff Gordon's car gets rumpled and crumpled here at Texas Motor Speedway. Ward Burton is your leader. Joe Nemechek started second, is running there. Kenny Irwin Jr., that's the black car, number 28, is third. The rookie. Right behind him, Jeremy Mayfield. 4 top 5s in 6 races for Mayfield. Just 1 championship point behind his teammate at the top of the standings. Right behind Mayfield is Rusty Wallace in 5th place, the point leader. Here's a look at Wallace. Those 2 cars are painted identically. Only the decals are different between Mayfield and Wallace.
Sometimes they're hard to distinguish.
A lot of times it looks like one car out there because usually when you see one, the other one's very, very close.
That big red Pegasus on the side of Mayfield's car, the prime distinguishing mark between that and Rusty Wallace's. Now, Wallace's number 2 car is owned by Penske South. That's a triumvirate of Roger Penske, Rusty Wallace, and Don Miller. The 12 car of Mayfield is owned by Michael Krenefus and Roger Penske, who bought out Krenefus's original partner, Chicago businessman Carl Haas. So they are teammates in the sense of the world until you look at the title of the car, I guess.
Yeah, sort of like brother-in-law, I guess, but I don't know.
I think you're right. And right behind them is Chad Little in 6th place. 7th, Robert Presley. 8th, Mark Martin. 9th is Mike Skinner. And 10th is Bobby Labonte. Then Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rutt, Sterling Marlin, Wally Dallenbach. Gary Bradbury, whose car went down to the apron and may have triggered the accident, remains on the lead lap in 15th. Brett Bodine is 16th. Jeff Burton is 17th. Bobby Hamilton, Kyle Petty, Johnny Benson, the top 20. Rusty Wallace, champion in '89, looking to repeat some 9 years later. 5 top 5s in 6 starts. What a way to get the season started. Remember, prior to this year, he had never finished, I think, in the top 10 at Daytona, much less the top 5. And always started the season behind in the point chase. This year, he starts way up front.
Well, he's had a great year so far. Consistency. Of course, he had an engine problem last weekend at Bristol, Tennessee, which hurt him, but he did hold on to the point lead, even though it was just a 1-point lead coming into this race.
5th at Daytona, 2nd at Rockingham, 3rd at Las Vegas, 4th at Atlanta, 3rd at Darlington. Getting set for a restart, we go back under green in Texas. Ward Burton brings them down.
Well, it's single file this time, Mike. It was double file when we started before.
Strung out the length of the front straightaway. Good clean restart.
Yeah, they're going to be racing pretty careful here now. Well, Mark Martin back there. No, that's Sterling Marlin, car number 40, went around with the.
Well, it's Pontiac, Chevrolet, and Ford right now as they come around here.
And that was Sterling Marlin that passed Ricky Rudd going into turn 3, took over the 12th position.
At the front, Ward Burton and Pontiac. Second, Joe Nemechek in Chevrolet. Third, Kenny Irwin in Ford. Buddy Baker said at the top of the show he thinks NASCAR's achieved parity between the 3 makes.
I think you have. I mean, the Pontiac won in Atlanta, and that's the sister track to here. And this single file is beginning to get a little ragged looking. As you see Dale Jarrett making a move on Bobby Labonte down into turn 1. Just under him there, Sterling Marlin's looking to the inside.
And that was the race-winning pass yesterday. Got underneath the car coming off turn 4.
I think Bobby Labonte's car is pushing up just a little bit coming out of the turn, and so he's not going to fight him too much right now. He just wants to get him a good place to ride here, and hopefully keep that car somewhere up in the top 15 or 20.
After a 33-minute red flag for a 10-car crash on lap 2. We're back under green with live coverage on CBS. Ward Burton in front of Joe Nemechek, Kenny Irwin, Jeremy Mayfield, and Rusty Wallace.
You can see Chad Little look there trying to get up under Rusty Wallace, and Rusty said, I'll have none of that right now. So he closed the door on him getting towards turn 3.
You're looking back. The world's fastest tractor. There's Chad Little down to the inside. He's going for Wallace. Or rather going for Irwin, turn 1.
And that was Robert Presley, the 77, getting under Rusty. You can see Rusty dropping back. He knows better than to push the issue.
Yeah, he knows he's not going to get the traction up there. He might lose another position. Dale Jarrett's got a run on him coming down into turn 3. And Rusty backs off very wisely.
Jeremy Mayfield, meanwhile, moves up to 3rd. He has passed Kenny Irwin. There's Mike Skinner in 31, hunting Rusty Wallace.
Well, keep in mind, there is a mandatory yellow flag on the 30th lap here, so there's no point. If the car's a little bit off, there's no point in doing something silly right now.
NASCAR indicated because last hour practice yesterday was called off due to seepage in the track. They will have a caution sometime in the first 30 laps.
Ned, did you see that telemetry? 190 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway there. 180 already, and they're just starting into the quad oval here.
First Plus Financial telemetry.
Almost 200 miles an hour that time.
Off turn 2, back to the back straightaway. Nemechek towing Jeremy Mayfield, the pole sitter.
There he hits almost 200 again before he backs off, and over 8,000 RPMs.
Nemechek's car a little wiggly there, buddy.
I guarantee you they're all wiggling a little bit, but you have to remember at 200 miles an hour, you can see right there, right at 200 miles an hour, going into turn 1, right on the bottom of the racetrack, you can see Joe Nemechek in the 42 there. The back starts to jump.
And here comes Mayfield.
He's looking down on the inside. Nemechek will have to back off going into the turn, and he does. So Mayfield makes the pass, takes over 2nd.
Well, even though they are going to stop on the 30th lap for a mandatory stop, Jeremy Mayfield is second in the points. He would like to get up there and get a 5-point bonus for leading this race.
Ward Burton has led every lap. There is the gap that he has because second place has been battling.
He's put himself up a pretty good lead. Of course, that happens a lot of times when we see passes, as we have seen here in the last few laps for that second place.
So now with Mayfield in second, we'll see if he can run down Ward Burton. Last lap, it was 0.8 of a second the gap. It stays constant. Dick Berggren.
You were talking a moment ago about Joe Nemechek's car being a little bit loose. That is the problem he has fought since he has come here. Ironically, that Busch Grand National car that he ran yesterday had exactly the opposite problem. It wanted to push in the turns, so he wasn't able to transfer a whole lot of what he got there to today's race car. Finished third yesterday in that race, running third today, Mike.
Front row Joe. That bright blue car with the rainbow over the sides of the hood is Nemechek. Right behind him, Kenny Irwin Jr. and Chad Little.
Just behind him, Robert Presley in the 77 there. He's really trying to make a move towards the front. He's made 2 or 3 looks there at Chad Little on the inside. Couldn't make the pass.
He's running in 6th place. Chad Little running in 5th.
Okay, this is an animation that we have to show you what push is. You notice the front of the car is not getting traction. It goes up the racetrack. That's push. Now when you hear loose, it's just the opposite. The back of the car loses traction and goes up towards the outside of the racetrack. This is loose, or you could call this a wreck. If you ever get this loose, you're in big trouble. But down in the corner, you can see the back of the car losing traction, going up towards the outside wall. That's big trouble right there.
Something you hope to never experience in your street car.
Here's Chad Little in the green, number 97, taking a look at Kenny Irwin Jr. in car number 28.
And Robert Presley, who's had a lot of success in the Busch Grand National Series, not all that much in Winston Cup, is in that 77 car with his best start of the year, 8th. Trying to move forward. Mark Martin's in the picture on the right side of your screen, and expect him to be in the thick of the battle all day.
He's 7th.
You're in the 7th place car of Mark Martin.
They're running right against the apron of the racetrack. Look how close to the yellow line. That divides the flat part of this racetrack to the 24-degree banking in the corner.
Of course, they get pretty close to the wall when they come out of the turn. Of course, when they start into turn 3, then they widen out and dip right back down there to the inside again.
There's one of the bumps there. You can see the back of the car go down as it went through the bumps through the middle of turn 4 up there. That's one thing that the drivers have complained about this week, is that radical bump in turn 4.
While we're riding Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield is chasing down that big lead that Ward Burton had, is closing up.
Let's go to Ralph Shaheen for an update on Jeff Gordon.
As you can see, the crew is working feverishly on the rear end of the car. They're just about set to put this entire rear end underneath the car. This is it. It's all set to go. Here are the truck arms. This will connect to the frame. The springs will sit right on top of this. A complete rear end all set to go. As soon as they get the old one out, it's all unbolted. Here it comes. They'll slide this in 5 more minutes. The rear end will be in.
That's speedy service. The either the rear end or one of those trailing arms was bent. That's why they had to replace it.
Mike, this is what Ned was talking about just a second ago. Jeremy Mayfield is down to about 4 car lengths on our leader, Ward Burton.
Till today, Ward Burton had only led 5 laps all season, those coming at Las Vegas. He's led every one of the 22 that we've completed so far. See Burton's car moving up the racetrack just a little.
He's beginning to get a little ill effects from running so hard right at the first, and Jeremy was kind of back in the pack there. He didn't cook his tires quite as much. They're a little bit cooler. Jeremy's moving right in on him.
Mark Martin had a notion to try to move on the inside of Robert Preston, but thought better of it as he went into turn 3.
And we're going to have a battle for the lead because Mayfield has caught race leader Ward Burton. Right there. Burton's car owner Bill Davis and his wife Gail came out here on their motorcycles. Rode their BMWs from North Carolina out to Texas with the Kyle Pettys. Had a great time.
You can see Jeremy Mayfield's hands pretty steady getting in the corner, but he's really giving her a left-hand turn right there, right down on the bottom of the racetrack as he chases Ward Burton off turn 4.
23 laps complete. The promised caution flag, NASCAR indicates, will come out by lap 30. If there is not a caution flag prior to that for an incident, so that the teams can check the setups they put under these cars without benefit of the last hour's practice yesterday afternoon, curtailed due to water seepage in the track. There is the gap. Mayfield has been within 0.2 of a second of Burton, who has led every lap in car 22.
Whoa, you can see Jeremy Mayfield get very sideways off turn 4 just then. Good catch on his part.
He drops to half a second behind Burton just on that one slide.
And a lap ago, Mark Martin did move around Robert Presley and took over the 6th position.
And there's Martin looking at his Roush Racing stablemate, Chad Little, in the green car. Ahead of Little, Kenny Irwin in 4th, Joe Nemechek 3rd, Mayfield and Burton the leader. Mark looking way low, and Little giving him a little room down there.
Yeah, he's giving him room, but he's got to get up there where he hears him. He's not going to just pull over and let him go.
Six laps complete. Here is the race from 4th on back. From left to right, that's Irwin, then the green car of Little, then Martin and Presley. Dale Jarrett gaining on that group, as is Jeff Burton.
That is an absolute Ford Taurus parade right there. Every one of those cars are Ford Tauruses.
And I think they're just sitting there riding, not taking any unnecessary chances. They're being held up a little bit, I think, some of these cars, as Mayfield dashes into the lead.
He went by Ward Burton like Ward and climbed on the brakes.
Yeah, I believe he did at least let off the gas.
Jeremy Mayfield, the pole sitter, to lead a lap and pick up 5 bonus points.
And now, you know, technically that puts him ahead of Rusty Wallace in the points.
Correct. By 4 points.
Yeah, just one behind coming into the race.
Now I guarantee you they're on the radios with Jeremy Mayfield saying, hey, you've got the lead. There's going to be a mandatory caution. Be very, very careful. You have a great car.
Coming around to complete lap 29.
Mark Martin still with a look at Chad Little. Nothing there. There's your leader, Mayfield. Burton now in 2nd in the Pontiac. A long gap back to Nemechek Chevrolet 3rd. Irwin 4th, Little 5th, Martin 6th, Presley, Jarrett, Jeff Burton, and Wallace. And the caution will wave this time on race leader Jeremy Mayfield. This is the caution that NASCAR promised the teams at 30 laps to have a chance to check their setups under the car, see how tires are wearing, because there was no practice yesterday afternoon after the Busch Grand National race.
And this is not an uncommon theme, Mike. We've seen it many times in NASCAR Winston Cup racing because of certain circumstances, no practice because of weather, whatever the case might be. NASCAR will allow them to come in, check their setups, as you said, see how that tire, you can tell a lot about the chassis on how the tires are wearing.
You cannot have a practice session that will tell you what race conditions are any better than this.
So at 31 laps, we're under caution. Interesting that Jeremy Mayfield said that he and Rusty Wallace have completely different setups under their cars. They trade a lot of information and seem to drive a similar style and sometimes like the same setup. It's not today.
But he said that they build a lot into the chassis that would make it adjustable. They put rubbers in the springs that are removable. And of course they can put others in there to make the springs stronger. Of course, they can make sway bar, track bar adjustments. There's a lot of things that they can do to adjusting the car.
You're in Rusty Wallace, as everyone.
Here comes your leaders down pit road.
I think every car on the field will come in now. Pace car is going to be lonely out there. He's going to be out there by himself. But it won't be for long because they'll make about 17 to 20-second pit stops.
You're on board Jeff Bodine, looking ahead at Bobby Hamilton. Here's Ralph.
Now the leader, Jeremy Mayfield, is in. Believe it or not, guys, he is a little bit loose when he is out in front of a car and a little tight when he's running behind him. So they're going to try to tighten him up just a little bit. They'll do that by taking out one round of wedge and lowering the track bar. They're also taking out one strip of tape to help cool down the engine. He is back underway.
He will not be the leader coming off pit road. 2 cars beat him out, and 3 cars were on pit road afresh before they sorted out Irwin, Labonte, and Ward Burton. That's the second group there.
Yeah, Mark Martin got out first. David Green got out right behind him. Apparently, they only took on 2 tires. They've not run very long here, and we talked about that at the top of the show, that we might see some of that just to get track position. And I think that's what happened with those 2 cars at least.
Pace car picks up the leaders. Chad Little up there behind Mark Martin. Here's Dick Burton.
15.77 for Ward Burton. That was a good pit stop. Rusty Wallace, on the other hand, had a very slow pit stop. The problem, they tried to adjust the chassis by removing one of the spring rubbers. That slowed him down. Then, just as he was ready to leave the pits, 2 of the crew members from Robert Presley's pit, who had been working right in front of him, were in front of Rusty as he tried to leave. Rusty had to back out of the throttle, and as a result, he had a perfectly miserable pit stop.
Like I said, it was David Green that came out second with Chad Little, who came out second in the car number 97.
There he is behind Mark Martin.
And I think they're wondering, did I beat you across that line down at the end of pit road? Which one? They're sort of, Chad sort of staying up there beside him as if, I think I beat you.
Now, this is interesting from a strategy standpoint. Jack Roush has 5 cars in this race. Did he have 2 cars take 2 tires and 3 cars take 4 tires? We'll be right back to Texas Motor Speedway.
In February 1998, First Plus introduced another one of their innovative products. And at over 200 miles an hour, it's way ahead of the rest. The Bill Elliott Dan Marino Motorsports Team, brought to you by First Plus Financial. Watch for it. It's the one in front.
Finally, after 49 years, you now have a soft drink that not only refreshes your thirst, it refreshes your sport. Drink accordingly.
In racing, the engine is everything.
What? It's the driver.
A driver will never see a finish line without a great engine.
The greatest engine will never see a victory lap without a great driver.
At least they agree on Texaco Haviland Formula 3 motor oil, the same oil you can buy right off the shelf. And also try Texaco Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze.
The engine's the first thing with the finish line.
Not in Indy cars.
While we could give you a lot of reasons to buy Performance Friction Carbon Metallic Disc Brake Pads from AutoZone, perhaps the most compelling is this. They simply stop shorter than any brand we've ever tested. Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. Ask for them at AutoZone.
This CBS Sports Race Summary is sponsored by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
33 laps, 49.5 miles complete. 3 different leaders thus far. The lead changing 3 times at an average speed of only 128. We've seen them clocking well over 180 and 200 miles an hour in the straightaway. But it was that incident in the early going that cost 10 cars a chance at a win. Those are the ones that were knocked down a peg. Coming to green, and let's go to Mike Joy.
The big winner on pit stops, 5th place, Terry Labonte. Started 37, raced his way up to 23rd, and by taking on only 2 tires, Labonte is in 5th place. And that's what you spoke of at the top of the show. Drivers and teams would use strategy in the pits to get up front.
Boy, it really paid off for him.
Look at Mark Martin going for the lead, Ned, down the back straightaway, down towards turn 3. Chad pulled up there and lets him go. And look at Jeremy Mayfield moving in the 12 car.
Mark Martin leads for the first time today.
Those are 5 bonus points for him.
Yep, Chad Little already picked up his 5. So his Roush Racing teammate Martin to the front.
Terry Labonte is moving back a little bit. I don't know if those 2 tires or what the situation was, but anyway, he was moving back, and here's Mayfield going for second.
And getting it. Yeah, we haven't seen too many drivers on the outside going into turn 3, stuffing in there 2 abreast.
No, they're not that brave yet.
But he'll let change as the day goes on.
Oh, yeah, they'll get a little more racy, but right now everybody realizes this is the actual start of the race. Everybody knows what to do. They've made their adjustments. They have their cars set up like you want them now.
Trouble on Jeff Bodine as he comes to pit road under green.
Certainly an unscheduled pit stop. Must have had a flat.
Phillips in-car cam, and they put tires right sides on Bodine's car, send it back out. He'll lose a lap. Jeremy Mayfield, pole sitter, and that Penske Chronifus number 12 out front. As we'll get a TAC reading on Bodine. First Plus Financial Telemetry. Fully up to speed. Buddy, he's kind of lonesome out there.
You bet. Right now, when you have to make an unscheduled stop, like Terry Labonte is just falling back through the field, as Ned noticed just a little while ago. The 2 tires, I don't know whether that had anything to do with it or whether he has a motor problem, but he is dropping back through the field.
It's a good gamble, but he's dropped from 5th to 31st since the restart, and well, he might pit. He's going to stay out another lap at least.
Yeah, that car didn't feel right to him. And once he got on that outside, he couldn't get back down. He just stayed out there and let most of the field go by.
Ned, explain how the handling changes when you take only 2 tires.
If you have a car, we talked about pushing a little bit ago. If you have a car that's very tight coming off of the corners, as we see Dave Marcus going by there now, the front end wants to push up towards the wall. Now, if you only put on 2 tires, that'll loosen up those left side tires a little bit and will make the car freer going through the turn.
Also, new tires don't have the air buildup in them, and it really changes the way the car feels to you. A lot of times you'll feel like you have a tire problem.
With more on tires, Ralph Shaheen.
Gentlemen, this is the right rear tire that just came off of Jeremy Mayfield's car. Now, the depth readings are taken in here. 3/32 of an inch is what they normally are. The right rear is 2.5 all the way across. That is good tire wear here at Texas today.
And he's up front. Car, whatever they guessed on that chassis, has worked out well.
Tires.
Dick Berggren?
Yeah, we're talking about tire strategy, Mike. Interesting, last day, Mark Green did a pit stop and took no tires. The Goodyear engineers put their stopwatches on him. 50 laps later, he was running the same speed. It didn't drop off at all. And everybody else around here saw it as well. And we're going to see some very interesting pit stop strategy. Some of it has unfolded already. Chad Little in the 97 only took 2 tires on that first pit stop. So far, at least, Roush's drivers and teams are all operating independently as to what they do. 2 tires, 4 tires, or no tires.
Well, thanks, Dick. That answered my question. No team orders. Each of those 4 Roush teams left in the race on their own. Here's one of them. You're riding with Jeff Burton.
Last year's winner, Jeff Burton, is really coming up through the field. You can look right in front there. His strong suit is off the corner. He'll take a look to the inside, most likely right there on Kenny Irwin Jr., trying to make that move going into 1. Didn't quite have the mustard to get it done just then.
I think he's faster than Kenny is right now, especially through the turns. We're watching him come off at turn 2, and you can see him pull right up on the back bumper of Kenny Irwin. But that Robert Yates horsepower in that 28 car is tough to beat down the straightaway.
Jeff Burton, a first-time Winston Cup winner here 1 year ago, right up there really getting off the corner well.
The other thing that happens when you know it's a one-groove racetrack, you can see Kenny Irwin just pull over and let him go. He looked in the mirror and watched him come up on him in the middle part of the corner and realized he was just holding him up at this point of the race.
Dale Jarrett, Irwin's teammate, is the car now behind him as Jeff Burton pulls away. Burton now in fourth place rather, behind Mayfield, Mark Martin, and Chad Little.
He started 23rd, Jeff Burton did, so he has made a great run up through the field.
Mark Martin, second place car. Turn 2 condominiums there. Mark's got a good view of those. There was one on the front page of the real estate section in today's paper, 625,000. But hurry, there's only 6 left.
I think I'll get them all 6. Just hold them up here.
Rusty Wallace right behind David Green. Chevrolet number 96. And that's back at 18th position. As you heard, Wallace did not have a fast pit stop and is trying to work his way back up through. He was running in 10th, but Wallace came out 20th after his pit stop. He's gained back 1 position.
That's unusual for him. Most of the time it's the other way around, that he gains in the pit, but as they said, he was trying to make an adjustment on the car.
He's got a plenty fast car down the straightaway. You can see David Green just in front of him there in the 96 car. He really catches him down the straightaway, but getting in the corner, he loses just a little bit in 1 and 2, but at 3 and 4, he's holding right in there.
And Jeff Bodine, as we said, made that unscheduled pit stop for 2 right side tires. He's fallen 2 laps down, and he is kind of lonesome George out there.
Yeah, he's out there by himself. Going into turn 1 as the leader of the race, Jeremy Mayfield comes off of turn 4.
I was just fixing to say, Jeremy Mayfield's doing about the same thing. He's riding out there all by himself, too.
Mayfield currently enjoys a 1.2-second lead on Mark Martin. Jeff Burton another 0.8 of a second back. Another half second to Chad Little. Then Kenny Irwin, Dale Jarrett. Ted Musgrave back in the race after that lap 2 crash. There is the gap. First to second. Over the tunnel at turns 1 and 2. Just about 1 1/4 seconds. Randy LaJoie chasing Johnny Benson for 25th position. These are all lead lap cars. LaJoie spun in that turn 2 crash, but did not hit anything. They had to make repairs to his spoiler, and that's put him to the back of the field. Had a good outing in yesterday's Busch Grand National race. Started last and finished on the lead lap in 6th, gaining some more championship points. They passed Musgrave's damaged car there at the inside.
You don't realize how fast they are until you see a car that's off the pace a little bit, like Musgrave was down that front straightaway. They went by him. It looked like something sitting still there.
That's Wally Dolleback, the green and black car, just ahead of Johnny Benson. Benson has had a great season since missing the Daytona 500. That yellow car just ahead there. Johnny Benson has reeled off 2 top 5s and 2 more top 10s since Daytona. CBS Sports live coverage of the Texas 500 will continue after this.
It's the bargain of the month from Coast to Coast, Service Star and True Value. And this month you'll save big bucks on...
Oh. Go, 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 go! This is not a drill. Move it, move it, move it. Go, over there, over there, over there. You, come on, let's go.
Green Thumb Metal Rake, Green Thumb Weed and Feed, Cordova Work Gloves, and Green Thumb Lawn Food. Bargain of the month. It's a very, very big deal.
Nice hustle, kids. You too, honey.
At Pennzoil, we've discovered that it's not the kind of engine you drive that matters most in motor oil. It's the way you drive. You stop, you go. You stop, you go. You stop, you go. Imagine how your engine feels. The next time you change your oil, ask for Pennzoil, specially formulated to protect your engine from stop-and-go driving.
You okay, boy?
stop, go. Penn's Oil.
After 50 years of sponsoring professional rodeo, you learn a few things about horsepower. Like when it's a good time to put your brand on the horse with the most power. Wrangler is a proud sponsor of the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated #1 race car, driven by Steve Park and branded by Wrangler.
Sleek, sophisticated, stylish, and yet with an exhilarating V6. Chevy Monte Carlo lets you express that hidden part of your personality, just dying to get out.
Mr. Freeman.
How are you?
Tommy.
Monte Carlo. The side you show the world is up to you.
In the world of organized crime, power is relative.
Dad, you expecting somebody else?
Mario Puzo's The Last Don 2, CBS Sunday, May 3rd.
56 laps, 84 miles complete here in the Texas 500. Taurus in astrology is the sign of the bull, and they're on a stampede here in Texas. The first 7 spots are Ford Tauruses. Mayfield, Jeff Burton, Mark Martin, Chad Little, Kenny Irwin, Dale Jarrett, and Robert Presley. Ward Burton's Pontiac is the first GM car in 8, followed by Joe Nemechek's Chevy and that of Kyle Petty.
Well, we talked about the domination of the top 10 finishes by the Taurus, and it might be back to the wind tunnel.
Dale Jarrett has passed Robert Presley.
Now, Presley has caught up to Jarrett. Presley just passed Ward Burton a moment ago to take over the 7th position, and he's caught up to Jarrett and Kenny Irwin there, who have been racing for a position for some time now.
Irwin is 5th, Jarrett in 6th, and Presley in 7th, and they're going to pull it inside of Ted Musgrave, number 16.
That's the way they'd rather do it. Pass on the inside, much easier down there. Jeff Gordon coming back out of the garage area now.
Gets a loud reception from the fans. Some cheers, some not. Gordon returns to the racetrack after 34 minutes in the garage. He comes out of onto the track in 35th position.
That is a testament for a great crew. That car was torn up beyond belief, and they have repaired it where it does not look all that bad now.
Bill Stevens?
Well, as you saw after that first pit stop, Terry Labonte jumped into the top 10 and started drifting backwards. At first, they thought that the 2 tires they put on were bad. They had 2 more ready to go, but they left them out because Terry radioed to crew chief Andy Graves saying, I think I got a loose tie rod or a broken shock. They're going to leave him out till the next pit stop, and if they can fix it, they will. But at least for now, he's going to hold his own.
96 and 1984 Winston Cup champion. Terry Labonte, new paint job for his home state race on that Hendrick Motorsports number 5 Chevrolet. Jeremy Mayfield, Owensboro, Kentucky driver. Grew up watching hometown favorite Darrell Waltrip at work. Came to Sadler Racing in Nashville, Tennessee as a fabricator, and a darn good one at that. Worked his way into a ride, eventually at the Winston Cup level. Got tapped by Cale Yarborough to drive his Winston Cup car, and has now moved over to the Penske Prentice team.
These guys have been going at it back and forth. You can see right there Robert Presley in the 77 looking to the inside of Kenny Irwin as they start down into the dogleg down the front part of this racetrack. Kenny Irwin's car is very, very strong in a straight line.
Dale Jarrett got around to Irwin a couple of laps ago, but has not been able to pull away.
Mike Skinner down on the apron, and he had run in the top 10 in the early going here.
He's on pit road. This would be an unscheduled pit stop.
For more on Kenny Irwin. Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, the one reason why Dale Jarrett can't get away from Kenny Irwin as easy as he got around him is Irwin's not showing all of his cars. He's got a pretty fast race car. The crew just wants him to take it easy. This is also the first time that Robert Yates has not been present while his cars are racing since 1992. He had 2 ganglion cysts removed this week, one from his right wrist, one from his right foot. He's at home watching the race on TV. Dick Bergman.
And he's doing really well. Kenny Irwin is having a great day today, given the way his weekend started. He began the weekend by bouncing the car off the wall, but he managed to get the work done on the car, and Irwin is having a good run today, Mike.
He has one top 5 finish, Dick, that coming at Atlanta. Mike Skinner took on right side tires and went back in the race, that coming at lap 64 under green, and it will cost him 2 laps. You're watching 5th, 6th, and 7th. Jarrett in 88, Irwin in 28, and Presley in 77. Robert Presley has started all 6 races, best finish in 20th at Darlington. Jeff Gordon came back on track. He's not up to speed, but he is making laps. He came back out in 35th and currently holds that position. It would be hard to move up without more attrition. Bill Stevens.
Jimmy Spencer started 39th, has moved up to 17th. Crew chief Donnie Wingo not really that pleased with the last pit stop they had because they made the car a little bit too tight. Now they want to loosen it up on the next pit stop, and thanks to Buddy, we know exactly what I'm talking about.
I get a lot of credit for things I guess on, don't I?
Darrell Waltrip comes back in the race. He was also a victim of that lap 2 crash. You're watching from Rusty Wallace. There's a look at Waltrip. A little more black than yellow on that Dale and Teresa Earnhardt owned machine. And a hi to Steve Park, regular driver of that car, who was on crutches at Bristol last week and on the mend, hoping to return this season. Jeremy Mayfield has now opened up a 4.2-second lead on last year's winner, Jeff Burton. Looks like they lost the reins on that horse. He is off and running.
Oh, and that car is just sticking right down on the inside of the racetrack. Mike just goes where he wants it to go.
Both Musgrave and Waltrip have been black flagged for speeding down pit road after coming back in the race. Musgrave has already served his stop-and-go penalty.
That is one time that will not bother DW. He's been out forever and ever, so one more lap won't bother him one way or the other.
The phrase adding insult to injury comes to mind. Yeah, Waltrip is not up to full speed, but he was too fast down pit road. For more on Darrell Waltrip, Bill Stevens.
Well, Darrell Waltrip not having a great day, but you got to feel for his crew chief, Felipe Lopez. When Steve Park got hurt in Atlanta, Felipe Lopez went home and found out he had to get out of his house. His lease was not going to be renewed. He just closed on a new house last week. And oh, by the way, his wife Angela is pregnant with twins.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
He's going to be busy, but that's good news.
There's Jeremy Mayfield. Boy, just cruising on.
Get used to the side of that car up front. Mayfield has always shown talent since he first came to Winston Cup. We ride with Bill Elliott, currently posted in 12th position. Here's our First Plus Financial can. 71 laps complete in the Texas 500. We'll be right back.
Whether it's Iowa corn, California rice, or Louisiana cotton, John Deere knows a thing or two about harvesting. So for a change, we decided to have our engineers make something disappear. After all, somebody had to get mulching right. Introducing the Freedom Mulching System. While some may be impressed by its patents, we think you like the way it works, even on wet grass and leaves. Because although the problem was different, the name is still the same.
synthetic motor oil from 35 degrees below zero to 475 degrees above. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
To some TNN viewers, our country is music. To others, it's cars. And to still others, our country means hunting and fishing. But to just about everyone, TNN is America's country home. Whether you want to hear him spin a tale on primetime country or catch a whopper on Fishing with Roland Martin. Visit with the legends on Life and Times. Or dig the dirt on Dallas. There's a place for you. Drop by and stay a while with TNN. You're always welcome in America's country home.
Troy Aikman is back to pass. He's looking, look out. Oh, Aikman goes down.
He had a man wide open. What was he thinking?
Brute. It's all part of the game.
All right, guys. Same play.
If you ask us, it just tastes better.
Dad, others.
CBS Monday. Next weekend on CBS Sports Spectacular, 2 special programs that showcase the rich history of professional golf. Saturday, a documentary-style look at the co-founder of golf's most prestigious tournament, the life and times of Bobby Jones. Sunday, one of the great rivalries shines again on Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, Hogan versus Snead Revisited. Nobody covers NASCAR like CBS Sportsline. Latest news and standings from the track. In-depth columns and driver bios, video highlights, interviews, and more. Get on the fast track at cbs.sportsline.com. 76 laps complete in Texas. Jeremy Mayfield now with a 3.2-second lead, and he's about to lap Terry Labonte.
Oh, we almost saw a little collision there between Randy LaJoie and Wally Dallenbach as they were getting into the corner there. Dallenbach had to get on the brakes very, very hard.
Dallenbach in the green 46 that Jeremy Mayfield is putting a lap on right now. Dallenbach is in 27th position.
That is Lake Speed that's just there in the 9 car, and one thing they don't want to do is go a lap down. So he turned up the wick a little bit there, turned the intensity up, trying to keep from getting lapped. But the way Mayfield's running right now, I don't think he can hold him off.
Lake Speed, that red machine with the cartoon characters all over it. He just missed being involved in the incident at lap 2. Mike Skinner earlier thought he had a tire going down, pitted for right sides at lap 64. He's back on pit road as Mayfield continues to eat up this field. Let's show you in replay Jeremy Mayfield's view of that bump.
He says, oh, guys, please don't hit. Please don't let anything happen. And it didn't.
Yes, they didn't bump.
One more monkey on that quarter panel of Lake Speeds, and then they had the little collision there.
The way Buddy jumped sitting next to me, I thought they bumped.
Boy, he has a great race car, and he is driving it to perfection.
And there's Terry Labonte trying to hang on, and you can see Jeremy going by on the outside and put Terry Labonte a lap down.
Labonte, runner-up last week, finds himself a lap down in the early going here at Texas. Here's our First Plus Financial telemetry on Jeremy Mayfield.
About 196, 97 miles an hour.
Trouble. Turn 2. It is Kenny Irwin. All torn up in what looked like a single car incident at turn 2.
Terry Labonte got his lap back as he came back to the start-finish line.
Caution is out. Lap 81. Irwin, rookie driver, former USAC champ and graduate of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, brings out the 3rd caution of the day in the Robert Yates Ford, number 28.
Let's see what happened, Mike. Here he is right there, that car going into the turn. He is by himself there, coming up on Jeff Gordon up on the left side. Robert Presley behind him in car number 77.
Presley's gaining, but you can see he just got loose getting in the corner there. The 28 of Irwin going up the hill, the contact into the wall with the left rear corner, then the left front corner, and down the racetrack. Very lucky nobody was coming as he slides back across.
Irwin will try to limp back around to pit road. As CBS Sports coverage of the Texas 500 will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
This place is going bananas. The chiropractor with a clothesline. Ouch! Low blow. What is this? Oh, my, a boot right between the eyes. Where are the referees? This is unbelievable. It's over. Now then, the daylight all over. Punching the doggies is gone. My legs are a-aching. My back feels like breaking. For the moon fills my heart like the sun.
You can keep your car looking clean, but you got to keep your engine clean too. Newly formulated Valvoline DuraBlend motor oil is a synthetic blend that suspends the dirt, unburned fuel, and water that cause harmful deposits and reduces oil burn-off. DuraBlend protects vital engine parts, so your engine runs cleaner and better longer. It outperforms all leading conventional motor oils because a car can look great, but it's what's inside that counts. Valvoline DuraBlend.
Where in the world do they still subject kids to cruel and inhuman treatment in forced labor camps? In the former Soviet Union. 60 Minutes, tonight.
This fall, the NFL returns to CBS. Welcome home.
In your eyes, the light, the heat. Well, Jama, and I hope you like jamming too.
Thanks to Golden Corral, seems no one cares much to go fishing on Wednesdays. Oh, sure, Golden Corral's always had that great buffet. Rotisserie chicken made from scratch mashed potatoes. But now, on Wednesday nights, they load it up with seafood. Crab legs, peel and eat shrimp, just $10.99. So, in hopes of recapturing some profits, me and the worms are putting on a show. Tonight, hello, Dolly.
More local news with more details. See it tomorrow only on News Channel 3.
Where in the world do they still subject kids to cruel and inhumane treatment on forced labor camps? In the former Soviet Union. 60 Minutes tonight. Followed by Touched by an Angel and the CBS Sunday night movie The Patron Saint of Liars, starring Dana Delaney and Ellen Burstyn. Sunday, May 3rd, experience the saga that begins where The Last Don left off in the most anticipated television event of 1998. Mario Puzo's The Last Don, CBS, May 3rd. Ken Squire.
Still under the second caution of the day at lap 83. We're celebrating NASCAR's 50th birthday this year. And here's one of the fellows that helped light that very first candle. 50 years ago on a 3/4 mile dusty track down in Charlotte, North Carolina, Jim Roper won the very first race in what would become the Winston Cup Series. Sure is different today, huh, Jim?
Great today.
Jim Roper's from Texas, from right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, when he won that first race, the reason he won it, he got a right to protest. They said he'd been 2 or 3 laps down, but he had a way of figuring exactly how many laps that car of his had run that day. How'd you do it?
We had a counter out of the slot machine, and the owner's wife and the owner kept track of the laps at the same time. And our laps were the same.
So with a slot machine, he gave him the exact number of laps that he'd run, and he was able to file a protest against Glenn Dunaway, and he came out the winner. Hey, Jim, congratulations on that first win and getting all this started. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
Jim Roper, who did it first. Charlotte, North Carolina, 50 years ago.
Kenny had one of the first sponsored NASCAR cars also because they tore down his engine in technical inspection after the race. The Mecklenburg Motor Company in Charlotte, the Lincoln dealer, gave him a new one to put in the car to drive all the way home to the Midwest if they put their name on the side of his car for the rest of the season, and he did.
Wow. Interesting story.
Bill Elliott. After pit stops, Elliott is up to 6th place. Started 38th today. Jeff Burton is the race leader from Jeremy Mayfield, Mark Martin, Chad Little, Robert Presley, And Elliott.
Excuse me, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The 99 car of Jeff Burton beat everybody out of the pits. So he has become the leader as we get ready to restart here. Jeremy Mayfield is in second place.
I was just looking at Jeff Burton's statistics here. He's led most laps on super speedways this year, 232 laps.
And he's back out front again right now.
Yep, he's going to lead a couple more. Mike Skinner is trying to get one of his laps back. As we go back to green, Skinner is 3 laps down. Make that now 2 as he is out in front of leader Jeff Burton, that purple and black Ford. With Jeremy Mayfield close behind. 25 cars on the lead lap at 85 laps, 127 miles.
This is the most bunched up that we've seen them for a while. Bill Elliott got caught up on the outside there for a little bit. He apparently only took on 2 tires, made a great pit stop. Kyle Petty also was far back in the field, and he apparently only took on 2 tires and has gotten himself up in the top 10.
6 Fords lead the Pontiacs of Ward Burton and Kyle Petty.
Here comes Jeremy Mayfield like a rocket ship off turn 4 of the 12. You're riding with him down towards turn 1.
There have been 3 stock car races, NASCAR races on this track with NASCAR.
Whoa, you can see the 99 gets very sideways. Jeff Burton almost lost that car.
He did lose the lead. Mayfield's back in front. Mark Martin closing in from 3rd. And Skinner will remain 3 laps down in that blue and yellow Chevrolet.
Boy, look at this traffic back here. Joe Nemechek down on the inside trying to get around the left car of Jeff Bodine. There's Bobby Labonte in the green car trying to make a pass on Dave Marcus. Went up in that high group. Didn't want to do that, but he had to because he was losing too much speed.
Dave Marcus is 1 lap down at number 71. Qualified at Daytona, and this is only Marcus's 2nd start of the year, qualifying in on time. Michael Waltrip, 21, moving around, and here comes Greg Sachs. Cale Yarborough's number 98.
Steve Grissom just behind 98 there. Sachs. And Derek Bradbury, he has run a great race today. He was in that first incident. He got a little sideways, got off the racetrack, but he had run in the top 10 until he made this pit stop.
That's the car number 78 that you're seeing going around Marcus. And there's David Green also having a good run in car number 96 going around Marcus.
That's the 20th and 21st place car. Also on the lead lap, Johnny Benson. Terry Labonte is back on the lead lap after finishing top 5 here last year. Randy LaJoie and Ricky Rudd are all lead lap cars. There's LaJoie's number 50 and Rudd's day-glow orange-tailed number 10.
Mike, you mentioned that Terry Labonte was back on the lead lap. We saw him get lapped, but as it came around to get the caution, Jeremy Mayfield backed off, let Labonte get back in the lead lap, a courtesy deal. And that was a Ford letting a Chevrolet get back on the lead lap.
Out the back of Randy LaJoie's car. That camera sits right on top of the rear bumper, right where the license plate bolts would be.
That's Bobby Hamilton in the orange-looking car on the outside there. He's dropping back just a little bit. I don't know what kind of problem he's having, but he just moved to the outside and let the faster cars go by.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time up there, buddy, doing that. Apparently his car's not working too well.
Battle for 7th place. That's Bill Elliott moving to the inside of Brett Bodine, who is 2 laps down.
Brad is running in the 27th position, scoring now showing him 1 lap down.
Oh, be careful. Dale Jarrett squeezing by the inside there of Bodine as they head down towards the back straightaway.
And look here, Jeff Burton has retaken the lead.
92 laps. Everybody was in at lap 30.
Cars still on the lead lap.
Well, what do you think? Has Mayfield just decided to ride a while in a safe spot here? Or is his car changed?
I think after pit stops and they get to work on these cars a little bit, you know Jeff Burton gets stronger and stronger as the race goes. I think Jeremy Mayfield right now, he's running pretty hard. You can hear the car. He's not backing off way early, turning down. He's staying on the bottom of the racetrack. I think he has a match out there now.
And this set of tires they put on might not feel quite as good to him as the other set that he had on. Sometimes the air pressure will build up differently in them. Sometimes just a half of a pound difference in the air pressure after they get built up will make a whale of a difference in how that car handles.
I have done this before, though. Just check them out for tough. See how good they are. Drop back. If you're able to close in real easy, like it looks like Jeremy's pulling back on him just a little bit now. See Jeff Burton there. He jumped sideways a second ago. Maybe his car is tightening up as these tires get hotter, and he's a match for Mayfield.
You're watching the first and second place car from leader Jeff Burton back at Jeremy Mayfield. Fords right now in the first 5 positions. Ward Burton's put his Pontiac up to 6th. Then the Fords of Elliott and Jarrett, the Pontiac of Petty, the Chevy of Nemechek. That's your top 10. Hut Strickland's back on the racetrack after that lap 2 crash. Lawn repair in the garage area for the Stamola Brothers car. And for 4th place, Chad Little has a mirror filled up by Robert Presley.
Robert Presley, very, very strong in the corner. You can see him close up on Chad Little right there as they come up on Jeff Gordon. The lap car there. Really couldn't get a clean run off. Chad Little couldn't, but you see Presley had to check up. He lost momentum.
Up front, it's still 1/4 of a second between Burton and Mayfield.
Mike, I don't know if we mentioned that Hut Strickland has come back out on the racetrack also. He just now came back into the pits, but he's going back out again.
And just that one lap, Ned, just that one lap gained him 4 positions over cars that had retired.
Mike, you can see Jeremy Mayfield moving in within a car length now of our leader, Jeff Burton, there in the 99 car. But just behind him, there's a teammate Roush car coming up. You can see him coming into view there, Mark Martin.
For more on our pole sitter and second place car, here's Ralph.
Paul Andrews is a crew chief for Jeremy Mayfield. What did you do on that last stop, and how's he handling now?
Well, both stops we tightened the car up a little bit. Need a little bit more yet. You know, the car's a little free at the beginning of these runs. It's taking about 30 laps before it gets neutral, so we need to be a little tighter than this. But everything's pretty good. We've got a real fast race car, you know, and I think we're going to be here all day.
Next pit stop due at about lap 172. If we stay under green, they were last in at lap 82.
Jeff Burton is not liking what he's seeing in the mirror right now. He has a loose condition, which he did get sideways about 15 laps ago, but Jeremy Mayfield was right behind him. He don't want that car to get any closer than he is right now, because what that does, it puts a wall of air up under the lead car and makes the back of the car lose traction.
Burton's car right now looks tied right down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, but that'll kind of deteriorate as he gets closer and closer, and Jeremy knows that. Right now, he'd like to put pressure on him, but it looks like they're pretty well matched.
If you're Jeff Burton right now, how concerned are you with looking in the mirror as opposed to what's out front?
Well, he's got a clean racetrack at the moment in front of him, and I guarantee you start looking in that mirror, and the first thing that happens, you see him really gaining on you. Now he's just kind of holding his own, and that particular distance right there does not create a problem for the car in front.
Can't look back too far, those guys can't, because Mark Martin is coming up behind them.
There's Mark Martin, who is gaining on the lead duo, the Valvoline in-car cam. On board that Jack Roush Ford.
Darrell Waltrip just in front of the group here. He's got involved in a wreck very early in the race. If you're just joining us, as they go by him going into turn 1 there, you can see a lot of damage to the one of Darrell Waltrip's car.
Waltrip's own team